first, I would thought I was going to start diving into the aspect of wisdom. And then this week, the topic of kindness kept staring me in the face. People kept telling me stories they had in their lives where kindness was at the core of it. And many of these stories involved kindness where you don't even know that what you're doing is extending this kindness in a way that might transform someone's life. And it's just where you're being you do what you do, and you have respect for others, and out of that there's kindness. And when it's extended to others, it can really transform their lives. And so it was a reoccurring theme that I kept hearing, where people had no idea how impactful their kindness had been. And it was quite amazing to hear the power of simple acts of kindness. And so I think a piece of this for me is that we live in a world where on a daily basis, people can be so hard on themselves, and yet their actions, the way they treat each other, their friends, family, neighbors, people they don't know, can still be transforming lives. And I think how much more this could be if we had awareness of this and appreciated this. At one point in recollecting, sharing thoughts about kindness, it seemed like a nice segue into loving kindness. And then I thought the word love itself might be taking this to a level where it starts to feel beyond us. And I really want us to see on the everyday level how much kindness there is and what we are capable of, and the power of transformation that this very simple quality brings. The more we can see things on the everyday level, the more we can know that we are fundamentally okay. And there is just so much we don't recognize, and in the not recognizing, we don't appreciate. And then we can easily weave together stories laden with judgment and unworthiness. And so this is one aspect we can pay attention to. And I know I've heard the Dalai Lama say, "My religion is kindness." And he's not alone in giving this value. You know, it's said that when we have deep realization, that kindness becomes evident. So kindness both internally and externally. And with others, we offer them respect, a greater sense of well-being. I mean, just think back to moments in your own life when someone was kind to you. And if you were going through a rough patch, you know, just even someone smiling at you, seeing you in a moment can be really healing, and it completely lifts our spirits. So we can have moments of kindness where we naturally extend it to others. And, you know, this is when we look at someone and we see them as a human being, just like us. This is kindness, as the pain of being unseen is so huge. And this can be conveyed in simple things of gestures such as a smile, the opening of a door, or words of acknowledgement. Recently, Edwin, whom many of you know is my husband, and I were at a shopping mall food court. And there was this elderly woman sitting there alone, reading at a table. And it looked like she had brought food from her home and was probably sitting there to be in the company of others. And she was dressed quite uniquely and had on what turned out to be homemade clothes. And to watch her be acknowledged by Edwin was like watching dark clouds part, allowing rays of sunlight to come beaming through. So it was just so beautiful to witness. And it can also be helping people to feel at home in an environment that is foreign to them, or to help anyone when they need some kind of support. as we probably do a lot of this anyways, what is the practice here? It's not to reify the I, that this is extending a hand and aren't I great and isn't this wonderful, but to notice within us the kindness and care that is there, and also to make the space for this kindness to our families, our friends, and those beings that we co-inhabit this world with, and they're plentiful. So there's many opportunities for kindness. As well, kindness to oneself is critical. Without, we spiral in self-destructive habits. It seems odd that it should be so hard to do for some of us to extend this kindness to ourselves, but so much of my own practice has been making a friend of myself. And I love it at times when there's just an affectionate voice towards myself, or a moment of appreciation for ways that I've responded and just touched into that kindness that is there. It is here that we quickly discover the difference between being nice and being kind. I think there's a fear in this. The kindness goes to the roots, whereas the niceness can be a superficial veneer that keeps us dodging the things we don't want to do. An example might be that we are feeling a bit cranky, and we think that therefore to be kind to ourselves, we should just go and rest. And maybe nice, and sometimes that's what's needed, but other times it's the easy way out. Being kind to ourselves might be to be able to sit with the cranky mind, or that firm voice of kindness that understands you're cranky right now, and we can see beyond this crankiness, and we still find we still have the capacity to help others, our neighbor in need, or whatever it may be. And there is a way that wisdom does tie into this with this topic, and because if it was just to create a better sense of self, this would not be so helpful. It leads us into the fix-it self-improvement programs, and we only reify self even further. Mingyur Rinpoche so often talks about how we have an unhealthy sense of self where we just don't live in accordance with the way things are, really battling with ourselves. And we can use that to discover a healthy sense of self that does live in accordance with the way things are. For example, being able to accept that things are always changing, this truth of impermanence, and that the world we live in is not so solid and real as our fixed perceptions make it out to be. And any one thing is not a thing in itself, but it's made up of many components that all break down and do not truly exist as we look deeper and deeper. And that this complexity is in an interdependent relationship with everything else. And even this is just part of the equation on the level of the relative truth. We can also go beyond that, where the true joy comes when we see through all illusions of self and see them simply as concepts that have functions on the relative level, but we are able to live in touch with our limitless potential. So then, if that was the case, why kindness? Because it is what we can do. And at the same time, it helps others and ourselves to find that place of freedom. So I'm always looking for bite-sized bits, bring this practice down to earth, and see how things turn out in my life. And as I do so, I find it helpful to keep the lens looking to what leads to a greater sense of well-being and the willingness to let go of that which doesn't serve me and perpetuates harm for myself and others. And that right there, I think, is kindness. And it becomes kindness infused with wisdom. So we would see that everything is really all tied together, and that even though in speaking about this, there is the language of self and doing things and actions in the world. It's really important, and it really it helps to soften the boundaries of self and other. It helps us to live in respect to other people, with other people, other beings, our planet. Our planet needs our kindness right now. And that as we look at this world that is so struggling, that this is really something we can do. So I just invite you to find these moments of kindness in your life, to pay attention, to appreciate them, to see others' kindness, to feel your own kindness, and to just let this be a doorway into being more at home in yourself and helping to create a better world for all of us. Thank you.